In the heart of World War II, when the world was engulfed in chaos, a secret mission unfolded, one so daring and ingenious that it would change the course of history. This is the untold story of Operation Mincemeat, a mission that saved thousands of lives but came at a cost only a few would ever know. It's a story of deception, sacrifice, and the haunting legacy of a man who never truly existed. A world at war, 1943. The world stood divided, torn apart by the devastation of war. Europe was a battlefield, cities reduced to rubble, and lives forever changed. The Allies were desperate for a breakthrough in the Mediterranean, but Hitler's grip on Europe seemed unyielding. The German army, armed with ruthless efficiency, made every attempt to strengthen their hold. The cost of resistance was high, families torn apart, children orphaned, and soldiers dying far from home. In London, under a cloud of smoke and whispers, the British War Office struggled to find a strategy that could outsmart Hitler. The Allies needed to open a new front in Europe, and Sicily was the key. But attacking Sicily directly would be suicidal. German forces were entrenched, and the island was a fortress. A distraction was needed, something bold enough to deceive Hitler himself. The birth of an idea. Ewan Montague, a lawyer-turned-intelligence officer, sat in a dimly lit room at MI5 headquarters, reviewing files. The room smelled of burnt tobacco and stale air, echoing with the murmurs of men who had seen too much. It was here that Montague, along with Flight Lieutenant Charles Cholmondeley, birthed a plan as daring as it was desperate: Operation Mincemeat. The idea was simple but audacious: plant false invasion plans on a corpse disguised as a British officer and ensure the body washed ashore on a neutral coast. Spain was ideal, a country teetering between Allies and Axis sympathies. The documents had to be convincing enough to make the Germans believe the Allies would invade Greece and Sardinia instead of Sicily. The plan was risky. If the Germans didn't take the bait, the lives of thousands of soldiers would be in grave danger. But if it worked, it could change the war's course. The man who never was finding the right body was a grim task. The corpse needed to appear as if it had drowned recently, with no signs of trauma. WWII, a homeless man who had tragically died of rat poison ingestion, was chosen. In death, he would become Major William Martin of the Royal Marines. Creating a believable identity meant crafting a life from scratch. Montague and his team built a persona for Major Martin: a caring fiancée named Pam, love letters stained with tears, a receipt for an engagement ring, a photograph of a beautiful woman. Even a note from a demanding father hinted at familial tensions. The details were meticulous, so much so that even the most skeptical German officer would be convinced. The final farewell. On a dark, moonless night, the submarine HMS Seraph surfaced off the coast of Spain. The sea was cold, waves crashing against the steel hull. The crew gathered, somber as the body, dressed in a military uniform and clutching a briefcase, was lowered into the water. In those haunting moments, the fate of a mission and countless lives rested on a dead man's shoulders. Captain Bill Jewell watched as the corpse drifted away. In that brief moment, the man who never was became a hero. The Seraph submerged, the waters closing above them. The German trap. The body washed ashore near Huelva, Spain, where local fishermen discovered it. Word quickly reached German spies in Spain. The documents were passed to Berlin, where Hitler himself was convinced of the invasion plans. German forces were swiftly redeployed to Greece and Sardinia, leaving Sicily vulnerable. Chapter 6. Victory at a Cost. On July 9, 1943, the Allies launched Operation Husky, the invasion of Sicily. Resistance was far lighter than expected, and the Allies captured the island, paving the way for Italy's liberation. Operation Mincemeat had been a resounding success, but the cost of deception lingered. WWII, a forgotten man, became a nameless hero. His sacrifice remained unrecognized for decades. The ghost of a hero. Years later, Ewan Montague stood by the grave of Major William Martin, reflecting on a mission that changed history but left a shadow over his soul. A man had been erased to save thousands. The mission was a success, but the price of deception was the erasure of a man's identity. The unseen sacrifices, the mission's success was celebrated, but those who knew the truth carried a heavy burden. The families of fallen soldiers, unaware of the deception, mourned deeply. Glyndwr Michael's sacrifice was never publicly honored, and his name remained forgotten. The cost of victory was a lifetime of grief for some. A legacy in shadows. Decades later, historians would uncover the truth of Operation Mincemeat. Books were written, movies were made, and the story became a test.